Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something I think a lot of people struggle with. It's that feeling, that absolute dread of speaking English because you're worried someone might judge your accent or, well, laugh at your mistakes.
Yeah, it's a big one. And
Yeah.
it's more than just feeling awkward, isn't it? It can genuinely, kill your progress when you're learning.
Totally.
So our mission today really is to pull together the advice, look at the research, and give you tools for, well, unshakable confidence.
We need to get past just the embarrassment, right?
We need to understand why people might react negatively sometimes. And then figure out practical ways for you to keep speaking English, keep feeling proud of it no matter what.
Okay, let's start right there. Because it does happen. That feeling when someone laughs or makes a comment, it can really sting. It feels personal.
It does. But, when we look at the research on this, on why communication breaks down or feels negative, one idea keeps coming up. It's often about them, not you. It's this concept called linguistic bias.
Linguistic bias. Okay, tell me more. What does that actually mean for someone learning?
Well, basically it means a lot of the time, any negative reaction like laughter has almost nothing to do with how good or bad your English actually is.
Really?
Yeah. It suggests that people who only speak one language, they often they lack the framework, the cognitive empathy maybe,
Yeah.
to really grasp how complex it is to speak another language.
So they're not reacting to you messing up necessarily.
Not always, no. They're reacting to something that sounds unfamiliar. And the research points out that often the people who are quickest to laugh or criticize, they've usually got zero experience learning a second language themselves.
Huh. So it's like they laugh because they just don't get it. They don't understand the effort involved. It's almost like it shows their limitation, not yours.
Precisely.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. And then there's another layer from social psychology. Sometimes it's about insecurity or just plain immaturity.
How so?
Some people sort of instinctively use correction or even ridicule to feel, I don't know, superior. It's like a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
They point out your mistake to feel better about their own stuff.
Wow. So the laughter could actually be a sign of their insecurity. Okay. But what about sometimes it's maybe not mean-spirited?
Oh, absolutely. The sources mention that too. Laughter can just be like a nervous reaction, surprise. Someone hears an accent or pronunciation that's just new to them, and it comes out as a laugh. Awkward, but not meant to hurt.
Right. Okay. That distinction feels important.
It's critical.
Yeah.
And it leads to this really vital shift in perspective. We want you, the listener, to try and adopt. Think about it this way. Every accent tells a story.
Story.
Yeah, it proves you're brave. You're operating in a whole different system from your native tongue. An accent literally means you speak more than one language. That's amazing. It's an achievement.
So pulling that together, if someone does laugh, the key is to remember it probably says way more about their lack of understanding or maybe their own issues than it does about your English skills.
Exactly. You're the one taking the risk, putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
That's how you get fluent. Don't take their reaction personally.
That makes a lot of sense. But let me push back slightly here based on some of the learning texts we looked at.
Okay.
If someone makes a mistake and it genuinely causes confusion, isn't the feedback, even if it comes across negatively, sometimes useful, like for actually learning?
That's a really fair point. If the intent is understanding, then yeah, feedback helps.
Yeah.
But the sources are pretty clear. Don't internalize ridicule. That's different.
Right.
Because the real enemy here, the thing that truly stops people, it isn't the odd negative comment. It's the fear of it. The research calls it anticipatory anxiety.
Ah, yes. Anticipatory anxiety. That feels like the core problem.
It is. It's the true blocker.
Yeah.
We found data showing loads of learners just stop speaking before anyone even gets a chance to react. They imagine people laughing. They hear the criticism in their head.
And they just choose silence instead.
Exactly. It's this fear that creates what one study called the silence syndrome.
I remember reading that. It said students who ace written exams sometimes barely speak in class, all because of this fear. They can do it, but the fear just blocks it.
It's heartbreaking, honestly, because fear just slams the brakes on learning. You absolutely have to practice to improve. You can't get better by staying quiet.
So the difference isn't always skill, it's mindset.
A huge part of it is. Confident speakers. They speak anyway. They know mistakes are part of the deal. They expect them, even. They know native speakers make mistakes, too.
Okay, that idea feels powerful. If we can really internalize that mistakes are normal, expected even, that changes the whole game.
It has to. That's the foundation in pretty much all the effective learning strategies we reviewed.
Yeah.
They don't just say mistakes are okay. They insist they're like the engine of fluency.
You actually need them to learn.
You cannot learn a language without making them, period. They're just evidence you're trying, you're learning, you're pushing forward. Think of them like data points, not failures.
Yeah, forget the baby learning to walk analogy for a second. Let's just think about us now. How often do native English speakers mess up? We forget words, stumble over sentences, correct ourselves mid-thought, even in important situations.
All the time. We need to normalize that error rate. If native speakers constantly slip up in their first language, why on earth would you hold yourself to this impossible standard of perfection in a second one?
Good point. It's an unfair standard.
Totally unfair. The only people who don't make mistakes are, well, the ones who aren't trying anything new.
So the takeaway here is, next time you make a mistake, try not to feel embarrassed. Try to see it as a little win.
Yes, a sign you're in the game, smile, maybe correct yourself if you can, and think, okay, that mistake, it just taught me something. It nudged me one tiny step closer to where I want to be.
Right. Okay, practicalities. Let's shift gears. What do you actually do when someone, does laugh or says something, that specific moment?
Okay, yeah, we need a plan for that, a sort of 3-step immediate response plan. Stay calm. This is crucial. If you get visibly upset, angry, flustered, you basically hand them the power. Just take a deep breath. Try to stay composed inside.
Okay. Easier said than done sometimes, but okay.
Step 2.
Step 2 is your internal dialogue, your mental framework. You have to consciously tell yourself, okay, their laugh, it doesn't define me. Their opinion doesn't change my ability to learn. You must disconnect their reaction from your self-worth.
Got it. Detach.
Mm.
And step 3, the outward action.
Right. What do you actually say or do? We're not talking confrontation here. That usually backfires. It's about strategic self-assurance.
Strategic self-assurance. I like that.
The sources suggest something simple, polite, but that shifts the focus back to your effort, like smiling calmly and saying clearly, I'm still learning, but I'm improving every day.
Ooh, I like that. I'm still learning, but I'm improving every day.
Sure, right? It's not defensive. It acknowledges the situation, but it frames it around your progress, your journey. You're basically saying, yeah, I know I'm not perfect, but I'm proud of the work I'm doing. It subtly shuts down the criticism by owning your learning process. That's really smart.
And building that inner confidence, that daily self-belief, that's what stops the fear from taking hold in the first place.
So it's not about pretending the difficulties aren't there.
Not at all. True confidence comes from believing in your process. It's an active belief. Okay, I'm learning this. I am getting better. And I'm proud that I'm even trying.
And that belief gets stronger through just doing it.
Exactly. Action reinforces belief.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time you try to speak or read or listen in English, you're strengthening that muscle, that self-efficacy. Biggest win isn't perfection. It's just making the attempt.
Yeah.
Again and again.
Because if you stop trying,
fear wins. Simple as that.
So how do we keep that volume of practice up without getting overwhelmed or feeling pressured?
Great question. One of the most effective, lowest pressure techniques we saw mentioned again and again is something called internal self-dialogue.
Internal self-dialogue, like talking to yourself.
Basically, yeah, but in English. It sounds simple, maybe even a bit silly, but it's incredibly powerful because there's no audience, no pressure.
So what would that look like?
Just narrate your day.
Yeah.
Silently or quietly. Okay, I'm making coffee now. Right, need to grab my keys. I'm walking to the bus stop. You're constantly using English, making it the background track to your life.
It bypasses that awkward translation step in your head too, I bet.
Totally. It helps you start thinking in English more naturally. And you can boost this with simple tools like use your phone's voice recorder.
Record yourself. Isn't that intimidating?
It can feel weird at first, but the goal isn't to critique yourself harshly. Just record a few sentences about your day, your plans. Then listen back, maybe a day later. Not to pick flaws, but to hear yourself, to notice, hey, I can string sentences together. It proves progress to yourself.
That's a good angle, focusing on proof of progress, not perfection.
Exactly. It's all about consistent, non-judgmental practice. Which actually reminds me of that story about Amir from the source materials on managing this specific anxiety.
Oh, yeah, I remember Amir. Tell that story.
So Amir was this student, really bright. But when he first started trying to speak English conversationally, people made fun of his pronunciation. Some specific sounds were tricky for him.
And he felt terrible, right? Wanted to quit.
Yeah, deeply embarrassed, ready to just drop the whole thing. But he didn't. Instead of arguing or retreating, he He doubled down on that quiet internal practice.
The stuff we just talked about.
Exactly. Listening intently, mimicking speakers he heard, repeating phrases over and over, and crucially, doing that self-talk thing, talking to himself in English while he was out walking, cycling, whatever.
And what happened?
The results were, well, pretty dramatic. Within about a year, maybe less, his pronunciation got much clearer, he was speaking much more smoothly, and you could just hear the confidence in his voice.
Wow.
And here's the kicker. The very same people who had laughed at him, they started coming up to him, asking for help with their English or for tips on how he improved so much.
That's incredible. It really shows that just sticking with it, doing the work, matters more than what anyone thinks in a single moment.
It really does. Confidence isn't about never feeling nervous. It's about acting despite the nerves. Persistence wins.
Okay, so let's bring this home for everyone listening. We have a little mini activity we want you to try right now, if you can.
Yeah, let's try to anchor this feeling of proactive confidence.
Okay. Wherever you are, just take a deep breath. Center yourself for a second.
Good. Now, think of one simple sentence about your day.
Okay.
Anything. I'm listening to this deep dive. It's raining outside. I need to buy milk. Whatever.
Got it. Okay, now say that sentence out loud, slowly, clearly. And try to say it with a sense of pride. It doesn't matter if it's perfect, just speak it.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, immediately after, say this sentence out loud with conviction. I am proud of my English, and I am getting better every day.
Say it like you mean it.
I am proud of my English, and I am getting better every day. Feel that. That's you training your brain, prioritizing progress over perfection, action over fear. Maybe try doing that once a day.
That's a great exercise. Because, look, the path to speaking English well, it is full of mistakes. Moments of doubt, nervousness, everyone goes through it.
Every single successful speaker you admire. They've been there, they felt the fear, they made the mistakes, maybe they even got laughed at, but they got where they are because
Yeah,
they just kept going.
They didn't let the noise, internal or external, stop the practice, the sheer volume of attempts.
So, wrapping this up, the main point is this. Your courage to try. That's infinitely more valuable than being perfect right now. Every word you speak is a win, a step forward.
And maybe here's the final thought we want to leave you with, something to mull over.
Okay?
No one, absolutely no one, not someone's bias, not their insecurity, not even the sound of laughter can actually stop you from learning and improving.
Unless you give them that power.
Yeah.
Unless you let that fear, that anticipatory anxiety take control.
Confidence really does come from doing the thing, from taking action. So keep moving forward. Your English journey, it's absolutely worth it.